we got a new one from the gritty Hell's Roof representative, Ito. Now, Ito's voice epitomizes everything grimy about upstate New York hip hop. He's got an unorthodox style of wordplay and rhyme schemes that make him stand out, and he often speaks in these street parables that can go over your head if you're not paying careful attention. In 2022, he did a few collaborative projects that flew under the radar a bit, but this new one with Futurewave is his first solo album since Ito Brigante and the Beauty of It back in 2020. And Futurewave has become one of the most sought after producers on the underground scene in recent years. So this project, Dead Poets, contains 12 songs lasting approximately 32 minutes. The features include Danielson, G4 Jag, Warlord, Iron Sheik, and Tears. But with that being said, track by track breakdown time. This thing opens with the Dead Poets intro, where Ito does some spoken word over an eerie, psychedelic beat that just sets the vibe that this album will likely be dark, moody, and cinematic. Track 2, Vintage, has this raw, stripped down bass line and knocking drums. There's a dusty soul sample at the beginning that goes hard too. This manages to be the most in-your-face instrumental on the project, but it's still mid-tempo. Ito's reflecting on old school rules like he bleed, I bleed, we all could die. Life was more realer and the Carl Kanai. So I thought that was dope that he gave a shout out to Carl Kanai, as I haven't heard that in some songs in a while. So as a whole, great first song that ended up being my favorite from the track list. After this is Bullets and Pills, which has a murky and watery boom bap beat that feels very Soul Assassins inspired, something dungeon-like. On here, Ito speaking on survival. You know, he's bit a lot of bullets and swallowed a lot of pills. Some lines that stood out were, if beef ain't have you under the radar once, nobody died. Played stupid games, win a stupid prize. So he's basically calling out the cats who claim they have ops, but they don't know real beef. Track 4, Make It Out with Danielson, is somewhat of a perseverance anthem. We are getting this icy and ghostly backdrop that's haunting but also smooth. Ito opens this up with some food for thought, like the saints and the sinners still pray over dinner. Danielson had a gritty verse as expected, but this record just personified that cold corner wintertime feel associated with Ito's music. After this is Poetry is Dead, which has this hypnotic and ethereal instrumental where Ito drops more spoken word. On the back end, he actually raps a verse. It's low-key and moody, but I liked his sharp wordplay. You know what that man made, I made men. They ain't want me with my toes down. I stayed 10. The following, Cut the Ribbon, feels like nighttime. There's more of this DJ Muggs meets Alchemist vibe to the production. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Futurewave, but it seems like that was the sound that he was likely channeling. Grimy, mystical boom bap. There are several lines that jumped out, like champions, shrooms in my ambience. That's most likely a room that you can't be in. I put your lights out, won't let your family dim. Then we get another spoken word piece entitled Dead Poets Interlude, which taps into that cloudy, nocturnal and misty aesthetic even more. We then get somewhat of a change in pace sonically with the following song, Did You Hear? This has a mellow, attractive soul sample and soothing flute. Sounded like something from a blaxploitation era soundtrack. Ito's opening lines are worth highlighting. I crack a Pyrex jar first and let the oil spill. Your bro will hang you before the unloyal will. So it's just another reminder about how the ones closest to you will likely betray you. Now, G4 Jag's feature was solid. I'm not gonna hate, but I typically don't find myself getting too excited to see his name on track lists, respectfully. After this is My Poetry is Deep, where Ito shines the spotlight more on his wordplay. This is set to a heavenly backdrop in those nods. My poetry is deep vocal scratches. Ito has some really sharp lines like hair triggers tear follicles and play a sucker to catch a sucker, act more poor. Looks like he's dropping a little 48 Laws of Power knowledge. There are some other dope bars too, but I really dug the Nas vocal scratches, the instrumental, and Ito's wordplay throughout. The next song, City Broken with Warlord Iron Sheik, is a cinematic gem. This has a menacing, downcast beat that makes you envision a body getting tossed off a pier. And Ito takes the listener on this tour through a broken city with his chilling imagery. He raps the wise jewel, slowly is the fastest way to get where you want to be. The city broken, I ain't outside, but I could walk the street. I also like Warlord Iron Sheik's verse because his energy was so explosive. The second to last song is Black Star. This orchestral production also has this celestial and faraway quality that makes it unique. Ito gives out more streetwise game. I don't fish off the company's pier, shit in my backyard. It's too close to home, I'm not that far. You die a good man, you get the Black Star. And if it's really sincere, they'll take their hats off. He does some more self-reflection here as well. But as a whole, I really dug this motion picture-esque beat and Ito's stern vocal. Then the album wraps up with Don't Listen featuring Tears. It's basically a Tears spoken word solo with Ito on the hook over a gloomy and surreal instrumental. Now this one managed to be my least favorite as I just would have preferred Ito rap on the track rather than Tears drop his spoken word poetry. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of a strong 3.5 mics. As always, Ito came through with those methodical, cold-blooded, and icy bars. Something can take several listens to fully digest, as I personally find it hard on the first or second listen with Ito to fully interpret certain lines from him, or to catch the jewels that he's dropping. As far as Futurewave's production was concerned, he continued to deliver. I feel he has grown as a producer with each new project. The bulk of the production here had this overcast, cloudy, and moody tone, which was great for the most part. It's just that I could have used another punchy, head-nodding track like the song Vintage, just to add a little bit of more life to what could be perceived as a dreary instrumental palette. And while I could appreciate the spoken word interludes as it played into the theme of the album, I also found them to bring the momentum of the project down just slightly. As I recall listening to them and thinking to myself, they are technically good, but for some reason they slowed the pace down of the project for me. But as a whole, I thought this was a dope release that fans of both Ito and Futurewave should enjoy and appreciate to set off the new year. My favorite tracks include Vintage, Bullets and Pills, Cut the Ribbon, My Poetry Deep, and City Broken. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Ito, Futurewave, Dead Poets. One.